So this is a Canon R5 with RF2870 f2 lens. But this is not a video about Canon R5. We're going to talk about R7 and R10 today. Okay, the first station was led by Mr. Baron Abbas. He explained on how to get the setting right because he wanted to show us how sticky, how accurate the autofocusing was in video mode. So what happened was we had dancers dancing in front of the camera, and all the moves were considerably high speed movement. They were also like they'll move towards the camera, towards and away from camera constantly. So it put the camera to the test where the subject is constantly moving, turning, and the objective is to get the camera to focus, especially on the eye, and keep the subject in focus regardless their movement. For the video setting, we were shooting in normal. Well, I did try on shooting on normal speed and also shooting in a high frame rate, which means that it essentially means slow-mo. So here are some of the footage. So here I tried shooting in burst mode. I turned the AF focusing to AI servo, which means continuous focusing in Canon's term. So this part is led by Johnson Wee, and this would be more of a bridal portrait setup with floral background, and also there's a smoke machine to help creating the a more dreamy and fantasy kind of vibe. But I don't remember what model of which Profoto model was used in this setup, so I didn't manage to find out, but it is Profoto. When I was at this setup, I only tested still images. I did not try shooting video at this booth. So here are a few of the photos that I've taken. I moved on to another setup, which is the low light setup. This is to test the ISO performance for the camera. Again, same goes for this station. I did not test on the video capability. Instead, I just shot a few images here. So in the final station, we moved back to the main hall where there were models dressed in culture costumes. It was very simple setup. So here on the stage, there was only a single light setup. Again, it's trigger wire. So the setup here was fairly simple. Only one Profoto light, one light setup, and I tested the auto setting on the trigger, which is very easy to use. And the trigger that was used is this one. I don't know the name, but it is this one. I'll find out and I linked it here. And again, I only have a few images from here. I was just focusing on testing out. Yeah, I don't use Profoto. So far, I like what I see in terms of performance for both the camera R7 and R10. But so how does it actually fit in my hand? So as a working photographer, handling and grip matters a lot to us, especially when you're working long hours with the camera, with the equipment. I'm liking the R7 a lot if you compare the two. As you can see, it is slightly larger than R10 and it fits better in my hand. So I get a more comfortable grip, and it's in terms of thumb placement, accessibility when operating the camera, it is much better, I feel. Now, R10 is too small for my liking in terms of the grip and the size. It feels kind of like a toy actually, because of how small and the form factor. The difference is that what I noticed is the battery used. R7 uses one kind of battery which I can't remember, and while R10 uses a battery that resembles what I use for my M6. The other notable difference between R7 and R10 is the card slot compartment. So R7 is pretty much like my 5D Mark III, where the flap, you open the flap on the side by the grip. That's where you insert your card, right? But for R10, there's no compartment here. Instead, the card slot goes under the battery compartment where you open the flap, the door, and that's where you slot in your SD card. Despite its small form factor, I believe that R10 can still deliver in terms of image quality. So I have had limited time with the camera, so I can't really say much to give my full assessment to the cameras. But in terms of first impression, I'm actually pleased with what I see here. And after going through the images and the footage that I've had, it's actually they're actually quite promising. Personally, I favor more towards the R7, and if you ask me, I would consider it as my second camera or a backup camera in terms of EOS R lineup. Well, I wish I have had longer times to try out the camera, but that's why it is. In the event that I was at that day, we have had just limited time. That's only this much you can try in a very controlled environment, not like the everyday scenario that you would do or use for work or for your hobby. So that's all for now. This will be the end of this video. So don't forget to hit like and share this video if you find it useful, and please consider subscribing to my channel as I look forward to growing my channel. Until then, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So here's the shirt from the Canon event. I think it's meant to be themed in a very natural way, since they were trying to promote R7 R10 as a camera for bird photography. So I think maybe this is for you to wear and to stay in camouflage, in hiding, and wait for the birds to come. Maybe. Bye.